Hey, so it's the Rock the World show. This is the father-son edition. I am Mike O'Neill, the LinkedIn rock star, and I'm here with my little rock star, Brendan William O'Neill. Brendan.
Yay!
So Brendan, how old are you?
I am 12 years old.
12 years old. So you're what they call a budding teen.
Yeah, I think some people call it tween.
A tween. You're a tween. Does that make you a tweener?
I don't know what that is.
Okay. So I've had the wonderment of introducing my son to rock and roll, particularly to live rock and roll, just as my parents, my cool parents, introduced me to rock and roll. They introduced me to the likes of Elvis Presley and the Carpenters and Captain and Tennille.
I wish I was there at Elvis.
Yeah, wouldn't you have loved Elvis? You would have really loved Elvis. See, Brendan is experiencing a lot of the same bands from that era with me. Bless his soul, Jimi Hendrix is not with us anymore, but Jimi Hendrix had a tribute show. And the folks in the tribute show were well-known names to rockers like us. Joe Satriani, Kenny Wayne Shepherd, Johnny Lang, a young guy. They used to call him Young Johnny Lang.
Can't call him that anymore.
Yeah, he's like in his 20s now. Can't be Young Johnny Lang, he's in his 20s. So those sort of folks, and they were doing this tribute tour to Jimi Hendrix and all. So we'll talk about that as well. But in the issue of this show here, Brendan, let's talk about what we just did.
Well, we were visiting your parents, my grandparents in Minnesota, right?
Yes, we were visiting my grandparents in Minnesota. And what just happened to be going on that night?
The Hendrix Experience, was it?
The Hendrix Experience show was going on. Just happened to be going on. So I was able to score some tickets because Grandma and Grandpa wanted to participate in the education of their grandson as well.
See,
thank you.
What we do is we get reject tickets from people, like special people that would normally get really good ones. If they don't want them, then we go at a special time, like 15 minutes before the show, or...
Yeah, there's a certain time, it's about an hour and a half before the show, but bless your heart. There's certain strategies you hit the box office at a certain time and you score great tickets. So, Brendan, what row were we in for that show?
Was it the 9th?
I think about the 9th row. And we didn't have to pay any service fees or anything. And it wasn't like one of those shows where close-up tickets are $300, so they're easy to get because they're so expensive. So that was a great show. And let's see, we had T-shirts from there.
Yeah, we have the T-shirts on the show right now.
You know what, my son? Why don't you go grab those shirts, and I'll talk about the singer coming out of the audience. Do you mind?
Okay.
So it was so fun because early in the stage here, one of the singers from In Living Color, another one of the bands that was part of the Hendrix show, they come out in the audience right down the row that we're at, and my little guy gets to like touch him and be right there, right with the singer who's doing one of the big time Hendrix tunes. And they got the In Living Color is that black heavy metal band from way back when, and they were part of the whole show. And Brendan, would you please bring the evidence with you here?
Here, Dad, you can have that one.
So let's start out with the classic shirt from the show. We actually wore this to the show. This is actually a shirt you can buy at Target. Target has really great rock t-shirts, lots of them, and they come and they go. So we bought this at Target, I suggest that. And Billy Cox, the bass player for the band, signed the shirt. Now, that's another whole story. Let me show you this shirt. There you go, signed Billy Cox.
Right there.
Got it. Oh yeah, how do we do that? Oh yeah.
Is it that
way?
Or that? I don't really
See, I'm learning the sign. This one is from this show, and get a good peep of that. And they had those buses, right, Brendan? See the back of the shirt?
Yep.
And the back of this shirt is not signed.
Yeah, it was.
Yes, it is.
See,
It's just kind of hard to see on a black shirt, but there's Billy Cox on that shirt too. And they had those buses, Brendan. Can you describe what the buses were like?
They were big tour buses, as you would probably guess. And they had like Jimi Hendrix hold the guitar, like.
So they were like wrapped, like you see a subway truck. It's wrapped with the wrapper, except it was all Jimi Hendrix stuff, and this exact design is on. It's one of the designs that's on it.
Kind of like a collage, is it? A collage of different photos and paintings of Jimi Hendrix.
Yeah, and there were 3 buses, so there were like 3 different designs. And I'll bet you didn't know this, but Jimi Hendrix just released a record, a brand new record of all new material, right?
I think you told me that. He was working on the songs and then he didn't quite get them to the recording studio or something.
That's correct. He didn't finish, but they were finished enough that they could come back, what, 40 years later?
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Come back about that much later and finish that off. Now with all the special hi-fi stuff and all the computer-controlled stuff. Isn't that fun? So anyway,
there is a difference, because with the older songs, there's a older kind of way it sounds, which just makes you more into it. Like, you know, Ballroom Blitz by The Sweet. It sounds kind of more enclosed or something, but that makes you think this is a classic.
So, what you're describing is analog, which is the, like records, as opposed to CDs, which is like all this kind of the digital stuff.
Digital, right?
Yeah, the good old analog stuff is still considered today to be the premier rock and roll music medium out there, as opposed to this kind of digital stuff where, you know, you got to chop things up. The signal, it's not like drawing a line, it's like drawing a whole bunch of stair steps that go along. And my ear somehow can hear those stair steps.
Yes.
Now along those stairs are little things called pops and snaps and crackles that come with the record, right? So that's just the way it is. So, hey, this is the father-son edition of the Rock the World Show. Thank you for joining me for this edition, Brendan William O'Neill. And we'll talk about other shirts and about other shows and stuff.
Experiences. Oh, which reminds me, at the right when we were leaving, about to get into the car, we saw one of the singers and guitar players walk into the tour bus, and he said hi. He said hi to us.
Was that cool? I mean, how inspiring is that to meet a rock star like that? And this was your first concert, right, Brendan?
Mm-hmm.
First concert. Well, thanks for joining me, and let's have some more shows together. Can we do that?
Mm-hmm. I like that.
Rock the World Show, Father-Son Edition.